Is just Derek's mom listening?
Okay, she does pop in from time to time.
Yeah.
So she'll be here.
But growing up around, having Derek and me in her life for over 20 years, I'm sure there's nothing you could say that she hasn't heard already.
Pretty difficult lady to offend. I'll tell you that much.
And it's only because me and Derek used to offend her so much. Well, I don't know. More Derek, because I guess he was around more than me.
What are you talking about? I was a perfect
lived
little
with
angel. Her. Yeah, but it's not like I was acting like this around my mom.
Are we ready to tell her I'm the only reason you ended up the way you are because I'm a bad influence?
Tail, she knows. don't worry. She's aware.
It's always the friend. Yeah. It's always the friend.
Derek was a sweet little boy with the center part until I showed up and I was like, do you know what alcoholic girls are?
Boy from the wrong side of the tracks in Enderby showed up.
Yeah, there's not even a wrong side of the tracks. Just being from Enderby makes me the bad person.
I kind of look at both of you though, and I don't believe anything that you're saying.
What?
Like you seemed like you were like the nerds in high school.
I mean, we were, so we had to try extra hard to not be nerds, and that meant
overcompensate.
Being 100% overcompensating. But we were like, for nerds, we were pretty cool, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought we were kind of badass, but I mean, which nerd doesn't think they're badass?
We were not badass.
I've seen the pictures.
What was our
I mean,
didn't you drive an Oldsmobile Buick?
Yeah, I'll go with nerds and then just blame the fact that we didn't get invited to cool parties and stuff was based on our nerd level instead of our personalities and being obnoxious.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice cop out. Thanks for that.
Hey, do we want to start podcasting?
Yeah, we already started.
Oh, hi, Internet.
Hey, Internet.
Yeah.
I totally forgot to say that.
Is that what you guys say? Hi, Internet.
That's our intro.
Usually that's the start. And we stole that from Poppy, probably episode 60-ish.
We didn't steal
Remember
it from
Poppy?
Anyone. We didn't steal it from anyone.
Well, she said hi, Facebook. She had a video that was just hi, Facebook, and she was all creepy.
We invented it.
Do people have to click? I don't have Facebook, and I know that's so hip of me, but do you have to click and watch it, or
Yeah, it'll show up.
Instagram Live.
No,
it won't just show up on
everyone. This?
But it does announce to everyone. I know Dale was like, well, first of all, hi everyone, thanks for joining us for episode 174 of Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that made people mad online and explain why they're done for caring. I'm your co-host Derek Boland.
I'm your other co-host, Dale DeRuiter, and our guest co-host
is me, little Kate.
Kate Donnelly from Philadelphia, America, joining us today to discuss a whole bunch of shit. Kate, thanks for joining us. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Tell us what Sober Kate's is, because I keep referring to you as the other half of the Sober Kate's.
I don't know what it is. It's just me and my best friend. We're both named Kate. We're both sober, and we have an Instagram. We have a podcast called The After Party, where we try to be helpful to people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You succeed most of the time, I'd say.
The other Kate is Derek's wife. So that's the tie-in.
Yes, that is the tie-in.
That's the only reason you're talking to us nerds, as you would have put it.
Right.
She's from where I'm sitting, you guys look like total nerds.
What was your social standing in high school? Now, I'm curious.
Oh gosh. Well, I dabbled in a little bit of a lot, I was really smart, so I got along with the really smart people.
Yeah.
I played a lot of sports, so I got along with them. I drank a lot, so I got along with those type of people.
So you were a Renaissance woman.
I was a floater, yeah. I mean, I sat with two people at lunch, so I guess I was a floater. I was less than a nerd. I didn't even have a full I don't know. I'm this enigma to myself even. I'm this 4'10.5" short redhead. I used to have really big boobs. I got 2 breast reductions, if you guys want to know.
Oh wow.
Thank you. And she still had to put a bra on to record today.
2 breast reductions.
Yeah, they were like freakishly large. So imagine that like walking around your high school.
Yeah, I get why you were popular.
Popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty popular. Not in that way.
Teenage boys are such
like,
rubes.
I got along with everybody because we had the same interests, and they were my giant breasts.
Yeah, I did really play them up too. I think everybody in my high school probably saw them.
I mean,
yeah. Why not?
Why not? I mean, everybody saw mine and Derek's body, and it wasn't even that impressive. It was
even
just
remotely.
We got naked at parties.
We like getting naked all the time.
Oh,
the
nice.
difference probably
that was our shtick.
Nobody wanted to see us naked.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
When then we learned about consents, and we've been trying to make up for that ever.
Wasn't
ever
really
since.
around back then.
Yeah. The 90s were a different time.
But I have something to just get out there first.
Okay.
So Dale and I are like the equals. We're like the best friends of this long distance relationship.
Yes.
Dale, how come last year when I friended you on Instagram, you didn't friend me back?
Yes. Yes. Let's have it out.
I've been outraged since last year. And then you friended me today.
This is going to be the worst thing you could possibly hear. It had nothing to do with you or anything. It's just I probably didn't know who you were. And
how do you...
What?
Dale.
Well, I wasn't like... Because it doesn't come up. Kate's friend Kate tried to friend you. It just comes up as your name. And I was like, I have no idea who this is. But there was a time when I was like, I think that was around the time because...
Wait, do you not just accept random women's follow requests?
The reason I followed you today was I was looking on Instagram. And I was like, oh, I don't follow her. And then I followed you. And then there was like 30 people I thought I was following that I didn't follow. So what probably happened was somebody posted a picture that annoyed me. And I was like, I'm not following anybody on Instagram anymore. And I did a purge. And then today I was like, why did I purge everybody? So in about 2 weeks, if I unfollow you, it's nothing personal. I just purged again.
Okay. Well, I'm just not gonna like your photography pictures.
That's fine. Nobody else does.
I mean, you've seen one fucking leaf. You've seen them all.
Yeah. Have you been to the woods or a flower garden?
Have you seen a leaf before?
Because that's all I take pictures of.
Dale, I've seen your wedding video, so now that's all I can think of on repeat.
The one where he was standing in the stream.
He kept falling in the stream.
Yeah, that's
love is like a stream.
That was good. Thank you. I'm glad you watched
really
that.
Good. Yes, I did.
I think it's on YouTube. Maybe we can link to it in the show notes so that other people can appreciate the effort Dale put into repeatedly throwing himself into a mountain stream.
That was all by accident.
Yeah.
Did it look real?
No.
My gag. Oh.
So is the bad blood, like, are you two going to be able to get along now that we've cleared up this Instagram thing? Or
I'm sorry I didn't follow you.
That's okay. But, we'd never interacted. So I was like, I don't know about these Canadian boys, Katie, because they're real dick.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But I've been outraged by both of you before. So.
Of all social media, Instagram is the one I interact with the least. Like all I do is post pictures. I don't scroll through it really at all. I'm just like, it's kind of like
the only one. Because today when you were like, oh, what's little Kate's social media? And I was like, she doesn't have any. Yeah. And she's probably better off for it. I would say.
That's like Text the guest from 2 weeks ago. He doesn't have Twitter. And he only has Instagram. He's like, oh, you can post my Instagram. I was like, people just have Instagram? That's weird. Because it's like, I don't know. For me, it's always just like here's some pictures. And then it's not like a talking one where you talk back and forth that much.
And then Twitter, you're like, here's all my shitty opinions. And then Facebook, it's like, here's that stuff I want my family to know, which is
Twitter's. Here's a dumb joke I thought of while I was working. Then I post it. And it's
never funny.
So.
No.
Have you read my Twitter?
Yeah. I've been on all of your Canadian Twitters.
Have you gone to have you ever had the best joke and then you go and you just search it on Twitter and then you find out that 15 people have been making the same joke for like the past 10 years, and you realize that there is no originality left in the world and that you're not actually as funny as you thought.
You know what would be a good thing for that, Derek? Is Twitter Blue. Because if you tweet something and you realize somebody else already has it, you can go undo it if you do it within half an hour, I think.
Okay, so Twitter launched this new, it's a subscription service, I want to say.
Just fucking out of nowhere, they're like, oh, this launched today.
Oh, now you can pay money for this thing that people have been clamoring for the past fucking decade.
Yeah.
I think it's just in Canada, right?
And Australia.
Oh, is it just in Canada?
Which is like
2 countries America doesn't really care about.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you don't have to care about it. Like, yeah, it's $3.99, I think, and it doesn't really have much. I think it has like more succinct like Twitter feeds and stuff where you can like pick your. So basically, it's like I guess you're paying for Hootsuite maybe, and Hootsuite was just like a Twitter app.
Yeah.
That allowed you to have multiple streams based on like people or subjects or whatever. And the only thing different really is it has the undo button, like I said before. And it's funny, like it's not really outraging people. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And it's like, how is Twitter like at one point the world's leading social media program just popping this up without like people knowing what the fuck it is? Like, had you heard about it, Derek, before it came out?
No, but also it's fucking like I can see why they didn't have much fanfare because it's fucking stupid. Like no one's gonna pay for this. If you pay for this, you're an idiot. Like a legitimate idiot.
Do you wish you had it though before Bean Dad happened?
No, because even then it's like because I could have fucking the whole thing is that it doesn't give you the chance to like delete a tweet. You can like undo a tweet and like the
time period.
Which is good if you're drunk or something.
Yeah. I get it's for 30 seconds though. So if you're like, if you tweet something and then 30 seconds later you're sober enough to be like, well, that was a bad idea. You're probably not that drunk. And I don't know that I would have like, even looking back on the whole fucking stupid Bean Dad experience, I don't know that I would have like said anything differently than what I said. My hope would just be that
you doubled and tripled down, so I don't think
like
you would
if I just like if I had walked back from the like aggressively yelling at people about how my opinion was the right one. I think that might be where I took a bad turn.
I mean, you could have probably saved 1 or 2 acquaintance relationships, but besides that, was it really? Has your life changed that much from the whole Bean Dad experience?
No, I mean it's like
Do we have to explain?
No, I think we talked about it. Marilyn Monroe always said that if you can't handle me and my Bean Dad, you don't deserve me give me another dad. That's people aspire to be like, because like I was just like, it weeded out. It showed me how
stupid Twitter is,
how fucking stupid Twitter is, and how like pointless the Twitter friendships. So I've been reading a lot about how I can't remember the word for it, but there's this phenomenon where people look at a relationship that they've cultivated with someone online and they have this tendency to assume it's a much stronger friendship than it actually is. And people do this with they don't just do this with other people, they do it with celebrities. Like they feel an emotional connection to celebrities that they follow on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. And it's like this brand new social phenomenon because all these people believe they have these relationships with people that don't actually exist. They're just like words on a fucking screen and nobody really gives a shit about you and you will probably die alone. So that was a valuable lesson that I learned.
It's like me and Joe Rogan. Like I've listened to so much of his podcast that I know what type of person he is. And I'm like, I know everything about Joe. I mean, if we met, we would obviously be best friends. But I get what you mean. Like I kind of feel like that might, like if someone listened to all 174 of these podcasts, they'd have a pretty good idea what type of people we are and probably to stay away from us. But they would know. So like, it's one of those weird things. Like you think about it, because it's like we don't care. We just put our whole personality out there for everyone to see. So it's like someone could get to know us. And then if we just met out in the wild, they would know everything about us and we would know nothing about them. And it would kind of be super awkward. But I guess.
There was also there was like a New York Times article that was published last week, and it's all about like whatever, like rebuilding your lives post-COVID or something, or like how COVID gave people the opportunity to identify like which friendships were actually important to them. But an interesting stat in that article was that less than half of the people that you, Dale DeRuiter, specifically, it called you out by name in this article. It was fucking weird. Less than half of the people that you believe are your friends also consider you a friend. So there's like mutual friendships. So like half of the people you consider are your friends do not consider you a friend back.
So it's like dating in college. It's like all these girls that I have crushes on, and I'm like, it's mutual. We have crushes on each other. And then you go talk to them and you're like, no, I was just drunk that night. And even though what we had was special and magical, Dale, they didn't say that. We're not going to date. And I would prefer if you don't talk to me anymore. And I'd be like, oh, this is just like that New York Times article that said that we're not friends.
That called me out.
I feel like that's something that that's good. It's like a harsh reality, but everybody should know that just because someone's your acquaintance, they're not your friend. And it's like everybody at work. It's like, yeah, I'm acquaintances with them and we're friendly, but would I help them move, or would I want, like, if I could get out of it and just don't accept because it's awkward to say no? But it's like, yeah.
I mean, little Kate, you and Kate are both kind of like masters of like having very like carefully maintained social. No, is that not true? Like keeping your social circles.
No, your wife is very good at that.
Oh, are you not? I just kind of lumped you in with her.
No, I just don't interact with people online really.
Oh, good.
I used to when I was younger. I used to go in the AOL chat rooms all the time. And I
had AOL.
Yeah. And I had all the same like friends, and I'd log on and they would think I'm like an 18-year-old blonde girl from Florida, but I was like 12.
You were catfishing everyone.
I was catfishing before it was a show. But I don't know. I'm just not good at online things like that. I don't think that like the online forum, you can cultivate deep relationships. Which is why I think that you're so weird, Derek. I don't know about you, Dale, but I know that a lot of Derek's friends are from Twitter.
A lot. Yeah, a pretty substantial amount of like my adult friends that I've like made in Vancouver since moving here did come through meeting them on Twitter, and then sort of like meeting other people through them in real life. But looking back at like, I was like, oh, everyone on Twitter is my fucking friend. I'm so popular. And I would like go downtown Vancouver, run into people I knew from Twitter and be like, yo, what up, Twitter people? And now I'm just like, fuck all those. Like if I ran into them on the street, I don't even know if I would acknowledge them, because I'm just like, Twitter people are, I think, and I'm probably going to insult at least some of our listeners, but if for you to spend that much time on Twitter, myself included, there has to be something like fundamentally wrong with your life outside of Twitter. Like
a little bit of like narcissism.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like that was definitely what motivated me to go there. But I don't think there was this guy. He's like, I don't know, Dale. How old is that? Are you looking at me? I'm not gonna say his name. But he's 25 or 26. He's this basically like a kid on Twitter. I don't even know if he's that old.
You've already said too much.
But he was talking yesterday, and he was like, how do people stay so positive all the time? And my advice to him was like, basically like, dude, get the fuck off Twitter.
Go outside.
There's all you're doing is you're like logging onto a platform where you see the worst of humanity like thrust directly in your face and waved around every day for like fucking like 18 hours a day. Like who wouldn't be depressed after spending that amount of time on social media?
One thing that's telling about that statement that he didn't even know was, he's like, how does everybody stay positive around each other? And it's like, to have a good friend, you don't feel like you have to be positive around them. Like if you feel like you can't be like negative around someone, then they're already not your friend, and they're just like a good times acquaintance, or you like talk if you're in a good mood. But to answer your previous question is I don't make too many friends off Twitter. What I do is I'm kind of an introvert, and Derek's like my forge ahead extrovert. So Derek is always making all these friends. So I just kind of like look at the pile and pick and choose which ones I like.
I'm like,
so it's like
I'm the big fucking like top of the funnel, and everyone gets dumped into me, and then Dale can just be like, oh, I like these couple people.
It's like trickle down friend economics. It's like I'm friends with some of the friends that Derek made off Twitter, but it's like I don't want to say it's weird to be friends with people on Twitter. It's weird to be friends with everyone on Twitter, but it's like just like anywhere else. You could just meet a genuinely cool person that you just happen to meet off Twitter. So like there's a friends group that Derek was friends with, and then like I don't know if I'm like more than acquaintances with whatever, but they're like genuinely cool people. And
I'm sorry, do you say genuine?
Like genuine.
Like the rapper?
Like Pony. Yeah.
What did I say? What did genuine? What did I say?
Genuine.
Genuine.
But that's
not how you say it. It's genuine.
No,
that's how the word is.
Genuine.
That's the rapper.
The rapper.
No.
He spells it with a W.
Pony.
That's genuine. No, genuine. Have I been saying genuine wrong my entire life?
It's genuine. But anyway.
I mean, you're probably just saying it the British way.
I've only ever heard of genuine.
Kate dunks on me like a half dozen times a day, just being like, how the fuck did you pronounce that? And I'm like, is that not how you say it? It's just like we have a language barrier between East Coast America and West Coast Canada.
Yeah, because we pronounce the U's in words, and they're like, it sounds weird to say color, like say color like poor. So we're just getting rid of that U, and we're spelling gray different, and we call it Z instead of Z.
What?
Did you know
you
that?
guys say Z, or we say Z for the last letter of the alphabet, and you guys call it Z.
It's called Z in Canada.
Yeah,
that's not even a joke.
So weird.
I know. Yeah,
because it's weird to not call them zebras. No, we don't actually call them zebras. We call them zebras. The look on your face.
Nice dad joke, Dale.
Like, I'm fucking over my head. I totally got sidetracked. Oh, we were talking about friends, right?
We were, and
the lack of them.
That joke.
I mean, if anything this whole pandemic has taught me about friends and social groups is just how many of them were superfluous. I'm all scared to say words.
You did. You got that one mostly right.
Superfluous.
Well,
superfluous.
I'll admit, like, I don't even know what that word means. So
it just means like extra unneeded. So it's like
superficial.
Yeah.
No, superficial means it's like based on like money and stuff instead of
superficial
like
means not
like surface level.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying like when I say superfluous, I mean unnecessarily needed. Like if I say I have superfluous money, it means I have more money than I need. So what I learned from the pandemic was how many of my friends I kind of like, not me personally, but just your social group was bigger than it ever needed to be because you're mostly just scared of being alone or missing out on some fun action that everybody was having that you didn't want, like you're YOLO. But now that everybody wasn't doing anything, you're like, oh, I don't really need half these people in my life to just be content at what I'm doing. And I feel like actually, I'm going to just retract everything I just said. Okay. The most important thing I learned from the pandemic is when people kind of make what they do as a personality trait, and that's not really needed anymore because now it's like we were all locked in our houses for so long. It's just like your personality traits now.
I don't know if that was really deep or not deep at all. I don't know.
Are you still hung up on genuine?
Genuine pony.
Supercalifragilistic. I don't know. Whatever that word was.
I'm not trying to be like, this is so deep it'll blow your mind. It's just like a nice thing to learn so you don't have to like get hung up in details that don't matter.
That song was mine and my boyfriend in 7th grade song.
Was it?
Yeah,
That's a
I did.
very risque song for 7th graders. God
Wait,
damn.
Did Genuine do Jump On It?
Yeah, the pony.
No,
we used to call that Joe Pony.
I don't think I knew what the lyrics were, so.
Probably.
Did you think the song was grade 7 Kate? Like, oh, the song is about an actual.
It's about horses.
Yeah, I ride ponies.
I jump on it. Let's go. We're riding off into the sunset. Yeah, it's not what it's about.
Jesus Christ. Question so both of you, will you be remaking your after the year and whatever in isolation? Will either of you be rebuilding your lives in a way that is like materially different from how it was before? Or is it going to be like, well, back to the fucking status quo?
No, so I can't relate. I wasn't in quarantine at all. I work at a hospital, so I worked longer hours and I was in work every day. So nothing changed for me. So I can't relate to all you quarantine heads.
It fucking sucked. Like you were Dale, same thing. Like Dale got to go into work for all except like 2 weeks? Or you were just going the whole time?
Stopped
you were
going
an
to work.
essential employee.
Yeah, but like as introverts, I would have loved to be forced to stay in my house for a month.
Exactly. Like my big complaint was, even though I got to work and I didn't lose out on any money, people are like, oh my God, I have to stay home again and watch full episode or full seasons of shows on Netflix every day. And I'm like, I'll do that. You could go
it's like,
to my
wait,
job.
you get to do that and not feel like a piece of shit because you're doing that in your free time. Like,
yeah, exactly. It was like the biggest, like if I stay at home on Saturday and don't go outside, I feel so guilty. But if I was like, I can't go outside because the whole world will die, so I'm going to stay inside and play video games and watch TV all day, it would have been great. And get paid by the government to do it. Oh, like because up here we had CERB, which was whatever that stands for.
It was like they gave you an ongoing, because in the United States they gave you like a couple like $2,000. Yeah,
you guys got $2,000 a month.
Well, to be fair, it's Canadian dollars.
Yeah, which is like 10 American.
Not as strong as the US dollar.
Yeah, but
if you lost your job due to like COVID related reasons, then they had these benefits that you could get. Or not even if you lost a job, but if you took like a reduction in hours, like let's say you worked in the service industry.
Dude, you could even say you didn't feel safe. Like if I was to be like, I don't feel safe going into work, I could have stayed home and made money.
Wow.
But it wasn't enough money to like, because I live in Vancouver. So $2,000 a month like pays your rent and then maybe one groceries trip. So there was no point for that.
Damn, you guys are lucky up there.
Yeah, we are. Except for now, you guys are all fucking partying because COVID doesn't exist anymore in the States.
Lucky. Also, we pay for all this shit through our taxes, which like,
let's compare taxes here.
Okay, how much of your paycheck gets taken off with taxes before you even get it?
One of the highest.
About 50.
Yeah.
50?
Pennsylvania is one of the highest in the U.S., I think, in terms of.
And I work in Philadelphia, so we get double taxed.
That is so
like
fucking dumb.
You pay a city tax on it.
And you guys don't have health care.
No, I pay for my health care.
Well, I guess we used to. Now it's free because
it comes out of my paycheck. And if I went in and was like, my nose hurts, they'd be like, come on back, we'll give you surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's
even if you don't want it, it's like, right. We're giving you surgery.
Like,
I thought the benefit of being in the States and not having socialized structural like Medicare and stuff was because you didn't pay much taxes. But 50%?
Yeah, no, the thing about Americans pay a lot of tax. It just goes to like dropping bombs in the Middle East instead of healthcare.
Somebody's got to pay for these bombs.
Somebody's got to drop them.
They ain't gonna drop themselves.
Yeah, and apparently, I don't want to get too political, but now that China's working its way into Afghanistan, it really is. If the States doesn't drop the bombs, someone else will. So you might as well get red, white, and blue ones instead of red.
I didn't know about that.
Well, China's trying to do that thing that they did in Africa where they build roads and they're like, we'll just build all these roads for you to make your life easier. And then it's just like a debt trap. And then they're like, oh, now you owe us a whole bunch.
Well, and like that's a much
China.
smarter way because you drop bombs on people. Some of those people are going to get angry at you, and then they're going to sit and like stew in it for 20 years, and then one day they're going to fly planes in the World Trade Center. Whereas if you just build roads,
I think that was a conspiracy.
And get that. Dale's.
Another thing we have in common: conspiracy theories.
Of course. I mean,
you want to? Tell me about this, and then I'll tell you about the funniest conspiracy theory I just heard this week.
Okay, you want me to tell you about the World Trade Center conspiracy?
No, which conspiracy do you think it was? Do you think it was the planes were missiles, or they were holograms, or they just paid the people to
or was it controlled detonation because jet fuel cannot melt steel beams? Or
so didn't they have like demolition stuff, dynamite at the bottom of the buildings? They wanted to go to war with the Middle East over oil issues. World Trade Center number 7, which wasn't one of the 2 towers, also fell down, and it wasn't hit by anything. And the BBC reported that it was hit and fell about 20 minutes before it was hit.
Yeah, like I remember that. It's a good one. Like, yeah, but like everybody's saying that jet fuel won't melt steel beams. What it does is it heats it up and cools it off, and then it gets the metal brittle. And then when the floor above it hits it, it'll like hit it, and then it'll stop for a split second, and then it'll break, and it'll keep doing that all the way down. And it'll be like, but you won't be able to see it because it'll be so fast. But I don't know, like, I definitely believe there's more going on in the 9/11 thing than
I believe that the U.S. like definitely allowed it to happen. Like they knew that this attack was coming.
Yeah.
Remember like 2003 or 4 when we lived in Edmonton, and you were like inside job
big
guy.
Time.
It was awesome.
100%. And we went to a bunch of like because I was just like, they just want to fucking invade Iraq. This is all about oil. And lo and behold,
what?
It all happened.
You need oil. Yeah.
It all
happened. They
went
there and got the oil.
They did. Dale, what's your conspiracy theory?
Okay, it's part of a conspiracy. It's one. I don't know. Is JFK or 9/11 a bigger conspiracy theory for people? Like, which one do more people know about?
I don't think a lot of people know about the 9/11 conspiracies as much as like the magic bullet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
you learn that in history class. I don't know what
true.
they teach now.
Yeah. So it's just like a dumb little aspect of JFK. Somebody was like, I was listening to this podcast. It's the Tinfoil Hat podcast. And if you like conspiracy theories, listen to that because they go batshit way overboard and it's entertaining. But one guy said they're talking about JFK and they're like, how do you explain the bullet hitting JFK? And the guy's like, that wasn't even JFK. And they're like, wait, what? And they're like, JFK, the actor who played JFK wasn't even in the car. It was a dummy that they shot. And I was just like, I'd never heard that before. That's hilarious.
Like just a dummy?
Yeah. Like it was like a stuffed dummy in the car.
But he was like sitting up. And then how did Jackie get all the blood all over her dress?
Well, it was like it had like Jello in where the head would be.
Like, yeah, just put an overripe watermelon up there and a pair of sunglasses on it. Same effect.
Well, I think that was an
practical effects.
That was an inside job too, because he fucked up the Bay of Pigs and all the Cuba thing.
Oh yeah. The CIA took him out for sure.
Yeah. No,
because he wouldn't just let
Harvey
him run
Oswald.
wild.
Did you see that? I mean, I think, could we just get into it? Someone tweeted on Memorial Day. This like left-wing troll was tweeting. Who did he tweet it at? A bunch of right-wing people. And he was like, can you please honor my my dead grandfather this Memorial Day? He was a veteran, et cetera, et cetera. And it was a picture of like Lee Harvey Oswald from his military service days. And all these right-wingers went and retweeted it. Being like, much love to your grandfather and so much respect, and we appreciate his sacrifices. And I laughed my dick off.
It included Matt Gaetz, Matt Schlapp, It's a wicked name. Dinesh
Slaps.
D'Souza. And Candace Owens. And it was funny because Candace Owens was like, this is photoshopped. How could you do this? This is disrespectful. And everybody's like, actually,
it's a real
Lee
photo.
Harvey Oswald was in our military, so that's actually the real photo.
And yet people still turn to Candace Owens like she has a fucking understanding of anything and isn't just some shithead internet troll. Which
I gotta say though, I would have fell for it because I don't really know what Lee Harvey Oswald looks like. The only reason I knew this picture was him is because he looked kind of like that actor from that Stephen King series who played Lee Harvey Oswald. Did you guys watch that
King series about?
No.
Yeah, it's like
JFK?
1963, and it had
Stephen King, the horror.
Yeah, he
novels?
wrote a book, and then someone made a series off it, and it had that fucking guy.
Is
you
JFK
know.
like a vampire or something? I don't understand the Stephen King. Is it like a horror?
No, he wrote a book
Uh-huh.
about this guy who finds like a wormhole in his closet, and he goes through, and he comes out in 1963, and then he like meets Harvey Oswald, and they like become friends, and this guy falls in love with Lee Harvey Oswald's wife, and then they pork a bunch, which is pretty good.
You're selling me on it, man.
Did not like that
Historical
word.
fiction.
It was super popular when it came out. It's like
11/22/63.
Yeah,
It's the book, but I don't.
that's the series, and it had the guy who was friends with Seth Rogen.
Franco?
Yeah,
James
Franco
was
was
in
in
a TV
it.
show. Wasn't he? He was
Canceled?
canceled recently, right?
Yeah.
For like for
Whoa,
for sexual
whoa!
stuff.
Dale
right?
did a little like,
I
like-
don't know. I'm saying I don't know why. I'm not saying what he did wasn't wrong. I'm just saying I don't know what he got canceled
I
for.
think
what it was
he did
about.
like he was a professor and he was teaching like an acting class maybe and making people do like sex scenes in class and like just sexually assault, like, you know.
Oh,
Just, yeah.
I don't know. And then he was talking to like 15-year-old girls trying to meet up with them.
That was the
Was
one
he, like,
I heard. Is
grooming?
that he was going for like
Yeah,
underage,
he was definitely
underage
grooming.
girls. He was doing the
Yeah.
the what's his name? Chris.
Chris D'Elia.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
mean,
Chris D'Elia.
James Franco can groom me.
Kaylin.
It's
What?
weird because a guy like James Franco, you're like, why would he have to? Because he's like one of those guys that all girls are like, he could get it. Because he could get it from a lot of girls. Because he is very attractive.
Yeah, but it's for a lot of guys. It's not like it isn't just like they don't groom these women because they're hard up for sex. They groom these like in a lot of situations. It's like a power thing, or like maybe, there's been lots of like rich and famous dudes who went for underage girls, and I think it's just because like the forbidden fruit, like you're
Actually,
not
it's
allowed to
very
do that, and that makes it more erotic, or just like the rush of manipulating someone into having sex with you, which no drug like it in the world.
It's like imposing your will on
Okay.
someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think a lot of men, do that.
It sounds like a lot of work to me personally.
Yeah, I mean, there's that
mean-
part of like the love of the chase,
Yeah.
which
Not
is
even
like
that.
ish, is like that. Okay, I get it. Like wanting to like work for something. Dale's like, no, like I can do it or don't.
If there's
And then
not a
there's, like-
paycheck, I'm not working.
And then there's the toxic side of that, which is like, yeah, going after people who you clearly should not be for
Yeah.
a variety of reasons.
Like the forbidden fruit, I could kind of see why that would be like something would be appealing about that. But yeah, like all those thrill of the chase guys, I was like, that's the worst part of a relationship. Being like, hey, if I buy you these $12 drinks, will you talk to me? Like, okay, you've had a drink. Am I still disgusting to you? Okay, I'll come back in a bit. Or it's like you're sitting there, you're talking to a girl, and you're like, "Ooh, does she like me?" And you're like, "I'll never know." And then you're like, "Should I make a move, or am I just gonna be like some weird jerk guy?" So you're like, "Hey, how are you?" And then you like text them, and they don't text you back, and you're like, "Okay, am I being ghosted, or did she actually not text me back? And then you're just like,
Yeah, but Dale, you're walking through this from the perspective of someone who thinks about any of this or gives a fuck about any of this.
Right.
Whereas,
That's true.
I think the majority of people are just like, I'm gonna fucking try, and if she doesn't like me, then that bitch is a lesbian, and I hate her, and I hope she dies.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
there are a lot of lesbians in Kamloops. I'm just gonna say that
Jesus Christ.
because
Dale.
I got rejected all the time, and I'm not that there's anything wrong with that.
You're a catch.
Yeah, and now you got your woman.
Yep.
And you
Everything-
didn't have to chase her,
everything worked out.
apparently.
You didn't have to
I'm
chase
never
her.
gonna
She
fucking-
chased you.
Yeah, I'm never gonna fuck around because that's annoying. Like when people are in like totally solid relationships and they still flirt with their with girls, they're like, "Oh, I still gotta know if girls like me," and it's like,
Well, I think
No.
flirting's different.
hmm,
Sometimes flirting's just fun. No?
yeah, I guess.
Derek,
I mean,
you
if it
can say
doesn't feel like a
yes.
chore.
I know
Katie-
my wife is
Katie
watching
won't
this, so no,
stab
I don't
you
think
tonight.
it's fun at all. I think it's sick and wrong, and I would never ever do it with them. Official
Well,
statement.
when she gets back to the America, I'm going to make her go out and we're going to flirt
Good, yeah, you should please do
with
And
each
then-
other.
And then yeah, you always do. It gets me so jealous.
Yeah, but the best part is you'll be flirting with Philly guys, so Derek has nothing to worry about.
Oh.
I mean, I don't feel like I
Touche.
do. If I like showed up in Philly for one day and she was like, I want this Canadian guy versus
Yeah,
like,
I know.
how much do Philly guys suck?
How desperate was she?
Right? Huh?
I just picture all Philly guys like the three off of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm like, that's the three different types of guys you get to pick from in that city.
Those are probably like a step up,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Dale, I will or
You
we'll
know,
get-
cricket, that's probably more like
That's-
the Philly guy.
Oh,
all right. What else we got? We've gotten through exactly two topics.
oh, hey, while we're talking on the difference between Canadian men and men in Philly, I wanted to talk to Kate because
Segues.
of
She's a
all of our
master of it.
guests, there's only two from the States we have, and that's you and the other Kate. Is that right, Derek? Or do we talk to other people from the States?
Your buddy, the strip club owner,
Oh,
Emilio.
Yeah, he's from Ohio.
Oh,
That's not
an
how I say
Ohio
it.
strip club. Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Right?
classy joint. Don't say nothing bad about what did he, I can't even remember the name. I only ever remember Hole in the Wall because I joke that he should name
Oh.
it. That's not its actual name. It has some like strip club name. But oh yeah. Do you know what the CFL is?
No, I mean I can guess. The Canadian Football League.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You got it. First try.
Yeah, I mean
Look at you go.
I'm pretty smart in that way. NFL, CFL.
Do you want to hear how many
Right.
teams are in the CFL? And this, keep in mind, is because they added a new team about 4 years ago.
Wait, it's been around for a while?
It's been
Oh,
around
yeah.
for like
It's been
hundreds
around
of years.
Oh,
Like
maybe
I thought it just
800
came
years.
out. Okay.
Yeah, it's been around for 100 years. They didn't play it all last season because of COVID. There
All
are
right.
9 teams,
Okay.
and that's it.
Well, it
And
makes
they u-
sense.
And they have playoffs with, is it 4 teams or 6 teams?
Oh no, 6 teams make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, so
Wait,
only 3
so-
teams don't make the playoffs.
And
That's,
out of 9 teams,
That is
they
very
used
Canadian.
to have 2. So there were 9 teams, and 2 teams were both called the Rough Riders. One was this isn't a joke. One was from Saskatchewan, one was from Ottawa. So a quarter of the league was named the Rough Riders.
The Rough Riders.
Yes.
Oh my
And
god.
then
Much love to DMX. Rest
the
in peace.
Ottawa team folded, and then they came back, and now they're called the Red Blacks.
Okay, so Dale, why are we talking about the CFL
But,
today?
Sorry, Kate, what were you going to say?
Yeah,
What does the Red Blacks mean?
it's 2
We
colors.
don't know.
It's the colors
It's
of
just
their
2
logo.
colors that
They're
they
just
wanted
like,
their-
let's pick the most non-offensive words.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
They were going to go with the Redskins, and then they saw what was happening in the with that shit in Washington. They were like, oh, maybe we should not do that.
So I was bringing up the CFL. It was funny because I was like, oh, this thing on the CFL happened. And I was like, wait, I don't think Kate will know what the CFL is. But we used to have this team named the Edmonton Eskimos. And then since Canada just doesn't want to be left out of the racism talk, they decided that Eskimos wasn't the proper term because the proper term for what people call Eskimos is Inuit. So there was calls for Edmonton to change the name of their team. And this week they released their new logo and the new team name, which is the Elks.
The Edmonton Elks.
Yeah. Instead of the Edmonton Elk, which is the proper plural form of elk. It's one of those words that plural and singular is the same thing, but they put an S on it. And I don't know. They said they talked to a linguist to get to see what they should call it. But so I guess it's like, it's okay to say elks. It's like one of those things where you can use either or, and it's still grammatically correct. And one of the reasons was the old shortened form of Eskimos was Esks. So maybe they just wanted that 4 letters again.
I like it.
There were a bunch of people popping off in the comments about how, whatever, how fucking shitty it was that they did. But it's actually like, it's a dope logo. It's a dope. Yeah. They put like elk antlers on the helmet, so the helmet looks super fucking cool. Elks is just a cooler name than like Eskimos is kind of like a
Eskimos. That sounded like kiddie, like childish.
Yeah,
it does. And it like, way to reinforce some negative Canadian stereotypes. Like, we're all Eskimos up here. We live in England. Like, this is a much cooler name. So I don't know like which people had a problem with this because it feels like probably
racist, the elk community.
Yeah, the elk. Like, fuck, where's our representation?
Yeah, I did a poll on Twitter and most people are for it. Like, I think the breakdown of it was 44% are yay, 33% are nay, and 22% are the CFL still exists. Because there was like, basically for 6 months, the only news was the CFL was going to fold because it went broke because of COVID. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of, sorry.
You guys watch the NFL. Right?
I do. Dale doesn't really
I don't like football.
I watch
every time I watch football, there's a horrific injury. Like I'll go to Derek's, I'll be like, oh, what are you watching? He's like, football. And I'll watch. And then some guy's leg will just get xylophoned up into his body. And I'm like, well, this is gross.
That's the best part. That's why you watch, for the graphic injuries.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I'm mildly into sports. And pretty much hockey's all the sports brain I can like. That's all the room in my brain I can muster for sports is just hockey.
I also want to say that like my love of football, I'm just basically like getting it in while it lasts because I do not think football as a sport is going to exist in like 5 to 10 years because you already like you look at all these incidents of like guys who have played football killing themselves or killing their wives or killing their girlfriends or just like because you basically like you repeatedly get head trauma throughout your career and you basically get Swiss cheese for a brain and it makes you super violent and like fly off the deep end and do like CTE makes you do all this awful shit. And I think as we keep seeing occurrences of it happening. And I think at some point they're just going to have to be like, okay, this football thing was fun, but I don't think we can like subject people to that anymore. So
I disagree.
Rest in peace, Philadelphia Eagles. You think they'll keep doing it?
I think it sells. I mean, they just had the Aaron Hernandez documentary, which I watched.
Which was a banger.
Right. They would have stopped it by now, I feel like. But they're like, oh, this is crazy, but it's got us a lot of ratings.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah. Like all the true crime ladies are watching football now.
So you're saying they'll use the crimes perpetuated by people with CTE to just bring like a larger audience into football.
Yeah.
It'll be like football is that forbidden fruit because they'll be like, oh, it's so dangerous. We're not supposed to be playing this.
Yeah, football. See tomorrow's mass murderers today.
Exactly.
All right, I like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it beneath the NFL to do anything like that. So
one thing that people were outraged about Edmonton renaming their name was 2 years ago before the pandemic when because they had for a while they had the filler name Edmonton Football Club, just like Washington did. And they had put out a statement that if you were wearing Edmonton Eskimos gear, you weren't allowed to wear into the fans. Like you weren't allowed to come in with an Eskimo shirt or whatever. I don't know how they feel about that now. Like I haven't seen this updated statement, but I do know that they're keeping the same letterhead logo because their old logo was EE and they're keeping that. So a lot of the, I guess, merchandise that people would have had the EE logo on it. So they could still wear all that into the stadium. So that might be the one of the spots of outrage, but it's just like anytime any sports comes up with a new logo, they're always like, oh, this isn't as good as the old logo. Like, look what happened in Washington. Like there were still people being like, they should just keep the old name. I like it.
Well, I think that they kind of went like too far. This might not be the popular opinion, and I might outrage
Let
people.
us hear it.
But like they're trying to change like the Chiefs. Is that a football team? The Chiefs?
that is
Kansas City Chiefs, yeah.
And like is that an offensive name? The Chiefs? Like, don't we want to keep like Native American culture?
Well,
or are we just gonna like whitewash them out of here?
I think what it is when they named these teams this, it was because it would be like calling like the Vikings. You're not calling them the Vikings. Yeah, you're not calling them the Vikings to respect Vikings. You're calling them the Vikings because it's this almost mythical group of people that are like so different and like mean and tough that compared to regular like people, they're scared. They're like scary. Like it's pretty much trying to find a group of people that it's like intimidating.
Yeah. Have you been to Iceland? Those people are very intimidating.
They are a hardy.
I have not.
Very large.
Bjork is crazy.
The Chiefs, I get. She is. The Chiefs, I get. Like the Redskins, that was like an obvious, like that was a racist. The Cleveland Indians baseball team had like a racist caricature of an Indian for their mascot. But like saying Chiefs, I think is, especially in like Kansas City where they have a rich, Native American history. I don't know if that in itself is so offensive. Like we've also seen calls here in Vancouver where the logo is like basically indigenous art, the orca, right?
Yeah.
Dale?
Yeah, it's
calls to change that.
It's influenced by Haida art, like the style of the orca with the teeth and the eyes and stuff. There's been minimal calls to change that, but immediately First Nation, like indigenous groups in the area were like, no, we like it, keep it. Like we don't see this as offensive. This is actually like if they see it like it's seen more as a homage to the art instead of
it's like inclusive.
Yeah.
Like why can't we have names that are not offensive or derogatory, but like bring, I don't know, awareness to the cultures?
Yeah, it's not like it's like the
what
Celtics.
What team do you guys have in the Vancouver area?
The Vancouver Canucks.
Oh.
It's like the team name's fine. It's just
team?
Their logo.
Any team.
We have one hockey team. That's it. We have no other sports here.
Oh, we have a CFL team called the Lions.
We have a CFL team, and we have a MLS soccer team, which no one gives a fuck.
Nobody cares.
I mean, people here care about it, but like people in cities with real sports don't care about it.
People don't care about the MLS. They just pretend to care about the MLS because people in Europe watch soccer. So they're like, hey, if I watch soccer, I'll be pretty good too, and people will take me more seriously if I wear a scarf to the football game. I don't know. I don't get why people watch soccer. I mean, my little brother loves soccer, but he doesn't watch this podcast, so fuck soccer.
Oh, you have a brother? I didn't know that.
I have 2 brothers.
I'll write that down in my Dale
reasons
notebook.
To hate Dale.
Yeah. Things I would have learned about Dale if he
followed me.
Yeah, if I would have paid it. I don't take pictures of my brothers on my Instagram anyway. So they live in different cities.
Huh. It's a trend with you Canucks.
Is what, living in different cities?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's because our cities are so small and so spread apart. Like
Mhm.
Vancouver's the second biggest city in Canada, and I think it's got about
Third.
2 million. Is
Third
that
biggest.
right?
Third biggest. It's the third
Sorry?
biggest. Third biggest city in Canada.
What's
It's
the
the
second
third.
biggest?
Third biggest. Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that French one.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. Also, there's more people in California than all of Canada.
Oh,
So
shit.
we're all pretty spread out. Like, I think the way you look at it is Canada compared to the States has 10 times as amount as people and half the land mass.
So you guys have to live apart, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Basically, yeah. Like
Like,
everyone.
there's no room for all of you in the same town.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if you want a
We-
job, yeah, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I'm trying to think of an example. Like, how far away is Boston from Philly?
Like 5 hours.
Okay, yeah,
Driving?
that's
Yeah.
Okay.
so you double that, and that's like Vancouver to Calgary. And those are the two big. So it's like 10 hours from Vancouver to Calgary. And those are the two closest major cities in Vancouver. But I guess Surrey is 1 million people, but that's kind of like in the suburbs of Vancouver. It's all very confusing.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
you'll
fair.
just have to come visit. We can explain it all to you.
I've been
when
there.
you're
Yeah.
here.
And
I've been
then
before.
we'll stuff you in a car and we'll just drive through nothing for 10 hours. And you can see a city that's a little bit
This is the
shittier.
real Canada.
This is how we
Yeah.
get to the grocery store.
On
Yeah,
our
well-
dog sled.
We'll be like, Vancouver is like the New York of Canada. So we're going to drive to the Pittsburgh of Canada, which is
Yeah.
Calgary.
We are nothing. Calgary is the Denver of Canada. And
Is it?
Vancouver is basically just Seattle, but more polite. We're like we're
And
the
a little
same
bit
city.
wetter.
We're the same city. And yeah, Calgary's very Denver. Toronto's the New York of Canada.
Okay,
Montreal's
well then,
probably the Philly of Canada. Like, rough around the edges and very French.
then Vancouver would have to be the LA of Canada,
Yeah,
True.
okay, that works.
except for
true.
wet. We have actual weather here, not like LA.
People
It's
get
dog shit.
wet in LA. Yeah.
It never rains there.
Speaking of,
Never raining?
I don't know. I wanted to talk about this. I have like 10 minutes and then I got to go before my kid gets
Okay,
dropped off.
here,
So,
I got one.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Speaking of not rain, you know what you can't play in the rain?
Tennis.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
you
I'll-
want to try?
I'll
You
allow
want to try better?
I'll allow it.
Eric?
No, that was good. I was gonna make a depression tie-in, but you know, I
Oh
like
God!
yours
Speaking
better.
of seasonal
Speaking
affective
of-
disorder.
Yeah, there you go. How about athletic affected disorder?
Professional tennis player Naomi Osaka made headlines when she was at the French Open. She basically refused to do press after some
The
matches.
Japanese Open or something.
Yeah, she had her first match of the French Open, and she's like, I'm not doing
Oh,
press.
it's the French
afterwards.
Open.
Yeah,
Is
it was
there
the
a
French
Open,
Japanese
yeah.
Open?
No,
There might be.
it was not that. There is. I mean, it might
Cut
exist.
that. Cut
but
that.
We're live. There's
We're
no
live.
cutting.
I hate to break it to you.
Damn it.
But she refused to do press after her. She played
First
a match.
match.
She didn't do press. She put out a statement basically being like, "Fuck you! Like, doing that is shitty for my mental health. I would rather like take the fine than show up and do press and do something that is harmful to me." And then she got a fine, predictably, and a lot of people had really strong opinions about whether this female athlete did press or not. And she ended up basically withdrawing from the tournament, saying, I think it's better for myself and tennis as a sport and the French Open if I don't serve as a distraction to the other athletes right now. So I'm just going to withdraw. And that was basically it. And a lot of people have like surprisingly strong opinions about interviews about tennis.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear. I have super strong opinions about how everyone should just like fuck off and not make demands on this person about what they have to do as part of their job. Because I saw a lot of like dipshit internet commenters being like, well, you shouldn't be a famous athlete then. And it's like, fuck you, you idiot. You shouldn't be good at a sport because you don't want to do like these pointless little post-game media interviews that really do fucking nothing for anyone. Like, I don't know if I've ever watched a tennis interview in my life, unless something dramatic was happening in it. So I don't know. What do y'all think?
I just wanted to fill in a little bit more. Like, one of the reasons this is such a big deal is Osaka is the second ranked female tennis player in the world, and she won 4 Grand Slams. What was it? She's won 4 majors, and she beat Serena Williams in 2018. And she was saying that since she won that tournament in 2018, she's had a lot of like mental illness issues that she's been battling with. And one of the things that's unspoken, or that she kind of didn't outright say, is basically after these athletes have this like match and they're all tired and they're sitting there, and then they just get like dumb asshole questions from reporters being like, oh, hey, what are you going to do if this person does that? Like, one thing the reporters keep doing is they try to invent like maybe like some drama that's not really there. And then she was saying that it kind of gets in your head and like eats away at your self-confidence and stuff. And she got fined $15,000, and all 4 Grand Slam tournaments warned her that if she doesn't do press conferences, they'll all fine her and possibly kick her out. So I'm behind her. Like, I think what's happening here is the French Open is losing sight of what really matters, and that's the athletes. Because without the athletes, you got fucking nothing. And you have the second best tennis player in the world saying, I don't want to deal with your bullshit, I'm walking away. Like, now whoever wins the French Open, they're going to be like, yeah, but they didn't play Osaka. So is this really who would have won?
Yeah, put a fucking asterisk on it.
Yeah. Is this the best tennis player at all?
Yeah. And the fact that she is only like 23 years old. So when she beat Serena Williams, she was what, 21, maybe 20?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming right out of high school where nobody gives a shit about the tennis team to begin with. So you're not in the spotlight. Sorry, tennis players. Maybe I'm just saying that because I got cut from the tennis team as well. But like, you're going from low key on the tennis team. You're not like a star athlete that people are going to watch in high school, and you go right to being like one of the top ranked tennis players in the world. Like, doing press conferences shouldn't have to be part of the job. I know it's in the contract that you sign, but like you guys said, they're not going to be playing the best tennis players. Like, do you really want this talented person who's so young to just quit the whole sport because she doesn't want to talk?
Yeah, and the other thing is that like she is a very media savvy person. Like, she's earned a fucking like, you see the way she is on social media. You've seen the statements she makes. She made something like $60 million last year through endorsements. That's not through playing tennis. That's on top of her tennis earnings.
Right.
And to do those things, like, you can't say it's not like she's some like reclusive shut-in who's just like refusing to speak publicly. Which, if that was the case, then like maybe we look at that and we say, okay, is this person like cut out to be a pro athlete? But she's saying, hey, I'm gonna have some boundaries about how I spend my time in like this really fucking intense, high pressure situation, a Grand Slam tournament. Like, let's just chill. I would like to take a little space and not have to deal with this bullshit from the press. And everyone lost their goddamn minds on her for it, where I think she's raising a really valid point around like, our athletes, you know, a lot of these professional sports organizations make these platitudes about like how much they care about mental health. But then you have situations like these crop up where they're just like, hey, I'd like to, you know, not do this thing. And the organizations are essentially like, fuck you, you know, you will do what you are told as an employee of ours, or you will pay the price. And I think it shows the opposite of a commitment to mental health if you're not allowing people to have self-determination in how they spend their time and energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's actually, I think I saw somewhere that she's the highest paid female athlete in the world with those endorsements. And like now we might see some weird, like, never trod on territory where, like, if you're an endorsement of this athlete and then the French Open is like, we're going to fine you, and then your athlete quits, like, that affects your brand. So are we going to maybe see one of her sponsors suing the French Open or one of these Grand Slam tournaments? Like,
or dropping her?
Yeah, I don't think they'll drop her. They might do it quietly in a while, but no brand is going to be like, oh, that person who cited mental illness, we're just cutting them right out. But another thing too, like, because this athlete tweets all the time, so people are still hearing from her and everything. I think it might be just that the class, like the legacy media, is kind of understanding how they're losing touch, and like, it's like a last grasp of them to do these press conferences, because, like we've been saying, there's no point of these press conferences. Like, I don't know who watches them. Like, basically the only time you watch them is when somebody fucks up and says something offensive and people are like, oh shit.
Yeah, people just go to Instagram, Twitter. That's like the athletes even are posting everywhere there. So they get their own publicity for free. So now, yeah, these news outlets are losing their credibility and their opportunity to get like one of a kind sound bites like they used to. So I like the NFL fines less for people that smoke weed or do hit their wives.
Yeah. Derek, who was that NFL player who was like, I'm not answering questions, I'm only here so I don't get fined at like
Marshawn Lynch.
conference? Yeah.
Seahawks great Marshawn Lynch. Same thing. Like, a guy who was like, I think it was a similar situation, but he was basically just like a giant fuck you to the NFL. He showed up, he just like trotted out the same answer because he had made a similar case. It was at the Super Bowl, and he needed to be like dialed in, ready to fucking play, and not have to be dealing with all this this press bullshit. So
did he get fined?
Oh yeah, he still got fined for showing up and saying, "I'm just."
I was gonna say.
But I think the fine for that was like hefty enough that he's like actually went and showed up and was like, "I'm not answering questions" or whatever. Like,
Marshawn Lynch fine.
Like, I feel like it was 150,000, but that could be way off.
Yeah, he was fined $75,000, which is like,
shit.
If you're making $20 million a season, that's not.
Yeah, but imagine at your job, if you do your job and you're the best at your job, and then like you have to debrief it every day, and one day you're like, I really don't feel like it, I just want to go home. And they're like, you know what, Derek? We're taking money out of your paycheck.
Like, especially when you like just did your sporting event and you're fucking like a wrung out towel. You're just like gave everything you had on the court, to be cliche, and then you got to like sit there and not like start your like recovery and stuff. It was just like, I don't know.
It's kind of like there's like a funny skit that like after sex, if it's great, and then you talk with your partner like, oh, I liked when you did this, or like you're a recapper. You don't want to have to sit there and recap it. You just did it. Everybody saw it. Like, you know what happened.
Just talk through it all again.
But the equivalent of this would be like if after you had sex, someone came in and were like, so you did all right this time, but what if your tricks on the next person don't work? What if they don't give you like physical feedback when you're flicking the bean? What are you going to do then? And then you're like, oh, I'm all inside my head on this. I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. We've all been there. Flicking the bean.
Flicking the bean, and then the next person, you're like, do they want the same flick?
Yeah, and they're like, the flick's too hard.
So they got the bean.
And then you're like, I'm out of my wheelhouse. I don't know what to do.
Please don't fine me.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fine.
Jesus.
Yeah, I wonder if they do that in porn.
with the bean flip. Oh, answering questions.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if they flick the bean in porn.
As someone who's never seen a porno before.
Derek's so wholesome. He doesn't know what porn is.
Never seen it.
You've never seen it? They don't have it in Canada?
No, we can't get. I mean, we have it up here, but it's much more.
Everyone's wearing
polite.
a parka.
Yeah.
Actually, funnily enough, our media is a lot more sexually free than it is down in the States.
Oh, I know. I've seen Degrassi.
Oh.
That is the benchmark for our sexual liberation.
It gave us one of our two biggest stars, and that's Drake.
Yeah. Wait, who's the other one?
Who is
Justin
the other
Bieber?
one?
Oh, I thought you meant two came from the show.
Oh,
Degrassi,
no.
yeah, that's how I interpreted it as well.
Of the two biggest stars in Canada, one of them came from Degrassi.
Yes. And the other came from Usher discovering him.
Yeah. I thought Ellen discovered him. Or was it he was on the Ellen show?
He was on the Ellen show all the fucking time.
But he was on Ellen when he was like 15, and that kind of helped his.
Yes. But I think
momentum go.
Usher discovered him.
Yeah.
That is
But
true.
I think he's eclipsed Usher at this point.
A what?
Who?
I think Bieber has eclipsed Usher at this point. Or are you talking about Drake?
Oh, eclipsed Usher.
Yeah.
I thought that was a term.
Wait, did Drake? Yeah. Because
Bieber's Usher has herpes.
They both have. Sorry, Usher, what?
Has herpes.
What?
You
Is that
didn't hear-
true?
Yes.
They only told that to you, Kate, because they legally had to. That's not public news right now.
Oh.
All
Wait.
right, the lawsuit.
He had a lawsuit.
The herpes lawsuit.
Herpes lawsuit. Oh,
yeah.
and it says he wraps it up, but I guess he didn't because that's why he has a lawsuit.
Wraps it up.
That about wraps it up.
It's like, hey, Usher, I know you think you're wrapping it up, but just singing while we're doing it doesn't count.
But I mean, so many people have herpes. Let's not judge.
Yeah, 15% of America. 15,
maybe
15%
America
of United States has herpes.
And
What about Canada?
Well,
we don't want to take our
I'll
parkas
Google
off
it.
that much, so it's way lower up here.
How many people in Canada have herpes?
Maybe it's 1.5.
19%.
About
snap.
1 in 7 people in
Wait.
Shut the
Canada
fuck up.
carry the herpes virus.
Oof, that's a
And the majority
lot
don't
more than
know.
I thought it would be.
Wow, it says
Oh,
that.
19% of people aged 35 to 59 years old.
Wow, and that's old.
That's
So
1
you
in
know
5.
what you got to do? You got to hook up with people older than 59.
Yeah,
Or younger than-
or younger than
Loophole.
35.
35.
Nah, that's
Why'd
just
you gravitate to the 60-year-olds?
well, because if you hook up with someone younger than 35, then eventually they're going to
They're gonna
turn
get there.
35.
and they're gonna get hurt on your 35th birthday in Canada. They inject
hey.
you with herpes.
No one's getting canceled for hooking up with senior citizens. That's all I'm going to say.
Yet. Until
Yeah,
they
yeah.
call
That's
that
true.
elder abuse.
Until someone does it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Little Kate, what are you outraged about? Did you come prepared with anything? We like to ask our guests what they're mad about this week.
I guess-
what's going on? Yeah.
Besides me not following you a year ago on Instagram.
I literally could just think of Dale outraging me. No, I think that Dale will like this one as well. In America, I don't know if you guys have them in Canada, but UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it. What is this?
Yeah, it's an unidentified flying object.
Okay.
Actually, we call them UAPs now.
What
Is
that
that
mean
true?
again? Yes, they're not
Unidentified
UFOs
aerial
anymore.
phenomenon.
Oh, come the fuck on.
Because they don't want to limit it to being an object. They might it might be like lights and shit too.
Oh, it
And
might not
isn't
be flying.
it's-
What if it's
Isn't it not
hovering?
extraterrestrials anymore? They're like ultra terrestrials.
No, ultra terrestrials are people from here. Like I think what it is ultra terrestrials refers to time travelers and people from Hollow Earth theory.
Okay then. I don't know what any of the theories
Let's
are.
just go fucking deep.
But like the U.S. government's like, we're just gonna like open up all our classified information about UFOs, but I'm pretty sure they're like distracting us from something.
Oh yeah. Do you want to know the real reason they're telling us about all this stuff about UFOs? Have you ever heard of Project Bluebeam?
Bluebeam?
Yeah.
No.
So supposedly Project Bluebeam is going to be like the next great false flag event where they say aliens came, which they never did, but it's just going to be like government officials posing as aliens so that we can resurge the military to fight these aliens that don't exist.
So they just want us to like build up our military even more and have an excuse to put the money back into the military.
Yeah.
Space Force.
It's funny how they're doing that now, like when they're pulling all the troops out of the Middle East, because now, quote unquote, that war is done.
Well, actually, the whole reason that they're pulling troops out in Space Force and stuff is the next wars are going to be in space as they fight over the natural resources in asteroids and stuff. Like, did you know China's on the backside of the moon just doing fuck whatever that we don't know about?
But we can't even see it because it's like the backside of the moon. That's
the
the smart.
They're like building
How
a
do you
base
know?
back there, and we don't know.
We would never know. We look up and we don't see it.
Yeah, and you think like
If it was on the front side of the moon, we'd be like, China, what are you up to up there?
What are you doing up there, China?
Yeah, and it's like, why did Trump, Bezos, and Elon Musk all get super horny to go to space at the same time? It's because they want to go. Whoever goes to an asteroid and claims that, it's like in one asteroid might have more, like say, nickel than all of planet Earth. So it's like all the metals are going to start coming from space, which is good for us because they'll stop wrecking the planet to get all these metals.
Well, they'll just wreck the planet to make these artificial bitcoins that don't exist, but they must mine them somewhere. We can get into that. I don't even understand that.
Nobody does. That's the point.
Nobody does. I'm just
they're
like,
hey, this thing that computers made it's more stable than a dollar coin. Is it like, I like how they're like Bitcoin's more stable than the US dollar. And then one guy's like, we're not going to do this. And it's just immediately cut in half. And it's like, that doesn't sound very stable to me.
And it's literally anything Elon Musk says.
Yeah.
It's pissing me off.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody's mad that Elon Musk said that, but he also is one of the only reasons it was so high in the first place. Cause he's like, I like Bitcoin. And the people are like, oh, fuck, here.
Well, he was the godfather of the Dogecoin.
That's true.
And then he fucked it up on SNL.
Yeah.
It's probably not before he pulled all his, like, I feel like Elon Musk just like, he knows now, he's like, I'm going to invest in something. I'm going to tweet about something. I'm going to drive the value up and then pull my shit out.
Or he shorted Dogecoin.
Like I don't know if it's at a point where you can short.
I don't know.
Well, Dogecoin isn't really crypto. It was just made up. So
it's all just made.
I've bad news for you, Kate, about crypto.
I've bad news about crypto or stocks or fucking like anything. All anyone cares about is if I put money into this, will I get into this machine? Will I get more money out of it or less money? And that's literally it. And nobody cares that it's just like, it's the entire fucking thing's a scam. You're just like, how does any of this work?
And using so much energy to mine it in computers, which doesn't make any, like one guy hid Bitcoins in computers. I don't know.
Well, what happens is you have to run computers and that sucks energy. But it's not like using Bitcoins causes coal burning. It's a lot of places in the States burn coal to get electricity. So running these giant computers.
Use like MS Paint? Just use MS Paint and make a Bitcoin.
And draw Bitcoin. So what you're referring to right now,
I found a Bitcoin.
What you're referring to right now is actually called an NFT. And if you used MS Paint to draw a picture of a Bitcoin, you can also sell that for millions of dollars.
Someone just sold a selfie for like $165,000.
It's fucking insane. I don't understand.
Everybody's like, go back to talking about 9/11. It's less confusing than fucking
Seriously.
Bitcoin.
If anyone wants a picture of my ass, it's gonna cost you 1 Bitcoin. Send it to my email.
Send it to her OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Hey, on that note, little Kate, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show today. If people would like to learn more about you or the shit that you do, or the ass that you show, where can they do that?
I don't know if my other co-host would appreciate this, but I'm on Instagram at the Sober Kates. Sorry, Katie.
I think she appreciates it.
Outed us. I mean, you can like
More traffic.
I'm not even gonna give my personal one. It's just my dog.
Yeah, don't. That's it's enough. Your dog also has his. Do you still update that? The dog's
I don't,
Insta?
but you guys can follow at Little Louie Boy. Boy is spelled BOI. That's my dog. I'm sure Dale's following him already.
Yeah, Dale followed him right away.
It's a dog, so of course.
Well, I'm glad my picture doesn't look like a dog to you.
All right. Big thanks to Little Kate for joining us today. Thank you to all our listeners.
Wait,
of course.
can you see like if people are listening?
What?
Yeah,
well, I
there's
can see who's
4
watching.
eyeballs.
There's 4
Hi,
eyeballs
guys.
on Facebook.
The weird thing about streaming on Facebook is it's like it only shows up as an eyeball. Like there's an eyeball icon with a number. It only shows up at that if somebody has it as the main active window on their computer. But if they like have it off to the side, you can't tell. There has been people commenting, and someone said hi to you. Kelly
to
Martin
me?
said hi.
Oh, she's Louie's babysitter.
Oh, there you
There you go.
But
Full
I was
circle.
like, oh yeah, you can't say hi back because you don't have Facebook.
I don't.
So
So, and we can get on that topic on another day because Facebook is also just as stupid as Twitter.
when you come back
is.
to the podcast,
we
because
will
now we're best
absolutely
friends.
get you back because now you and Dale are best friends
Right.
on Instagram.
But are we?
Or are we
Compared to that.
frenemies?
Yeah.
Are we mortal enemies?
That'd be fun. We could be like conspiracy. We'll talk about conspiracies, but we'll still be enemies just to know what the
Yes.
other one knows about us.
But then we'll like, all right, we have to keep it civil for our best friends, but
Mhm.
secretly.
you don't. I want
Yeah.
the drama. Like if you two could just like fucking like fight all the time.
Yeah, but
that
what
would
if
be
we both
entertaining.
secretly want you divorced so that you both can like just be with us again?
Yeah.
Give us
I mean-
all that marital attention that we don't
Yeah.
get
It's
anymore.
not so secret that that's what both of you want. It's pretty obvious.
And we'll have to join forces to do it
Yeah.
together.
You're
It'll
gonna
be- it'll be-
reverse parent trap us.
Yeah, we'll have a movie where we go like to some resort in the tropics, and then we'll be scheming to break you up, and then at the end we'll be friends because it just brought us together.
And then we'll
Let's,
discover that we're long lost siblings.
Yeah.
Let's
Sort
all
of, yeah.
plan a trip to a resort together. I'm
I'd
feeling
go
good
to a
about
resort
it.
just to do it.
I'm feeling good. All right. Thank you to everyone who tuned in for episode 174 of Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that made people mad online and explain why they're dumb for caring. I've been your co-host, Derek Boland. You can follow me on Twitter at herder.
I've been your other co-host, Dale DeRuiter. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at SuperDalebot.
Follow-
On Instagram at Dalebot, since that's been brought up so much.
You see that? He's looking for random followers now after it took this long.
You have to accept
to get
everybody
yours.
now.
Yeah, we know I'm problematic at following people, so don't get your hopes up.
You
Hashtag
can
cancel Dale.
cancel. Let's make it trend.
Just try it.
You can follow us wherever your social media is at Outrage Fact Pod. If you like the podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. If you really like the podcast, head on over to Patreon and give us some money. We don't pay too much attention to that anymore. But if you would like to give us money, and I'm sure there's some of you out there, this is my wife. dancing.
Unless it's Bitcoins, because those are trash.
Yeah,
I will send you one ass pic for
I'll
one
take it.
Bitcoin.
I'm gonna
Nice.
sell it as an NFT.
Yeah. Also, if anybody wants to give us feedback, you can reach us on Gmail, outragefactpod@gmail.com. I'm
And
sick
until
of just
next-
getting spam.
Oh, Dale, you fucked up the game. Until next week.
Stay angry.
Bye, fuckers.